What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Dinking and Driving podcast. Today, I am joined once again by Cody from Dinkin Donuts.
Hello.
And today, we are going to be chatting through a couple of things. We're going to recap some of the reviews that we've done in the past. We're going to talk about new reviews. We're also going to talk through some other fun things like highs and lows and what the future holds for the channel, as well as what Cody might be doing over at Dinkin Donuts. But that being said, on the first episode, I didn't do a good job of really introducing what this podcast is going to be about. So I wanted to touch on that today and just make sure that everyone knows like what the point of this is and what to expect moving forward as we continue to have conversations around pickleball, but not just that. So this is not going to be like every other podcast out there. Like I've said before, the world doesn't need another pickleball podcast. However, I do think that the point of this will be a little bit different. I think that the focus here is going to be more on smaller and up and coming brands that don't necessarily have the same resources as the Joolas, the Selkirks, and the Franklins, for instance. And so my goal here is to make sure that smaller brands that are doing great things and doing a good job of innovating and bringing excitement to the sport get some kind of spotlight. I've had entrepreneurial businesses in the past where I've attempted to build my own business, right? And I've done it multiple times, and I know how hard and how big of a grind that is. And it's really expensive this day and age as well when it comes to, seeding influencers, spending money on marketing, like all that gets very, very expensive. And so with this channel, my hope is to help some of these smaller brands get eyeballs on their products, especially if they're doing good things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if they're not doing good things, then I don't want to be talking about them. But if I am, I'll warn people about it, right?
Yeah.
That's not to say that I don't also want to, talk about some of the bigger brands out there. Obviously, we need to be able to compare, right?
Yeah,
Compare,
absolutely.
contrast. Yeah,
I mean, you have the established companies that are doing good things that kind of drive the industry that everybody else is chasing. And absolutely, I think there's some smaller companies that are right there on par with these big PPA, sponsored profile companies. So
yeah,
getting those smaller companies some light that are playing just as good
yeah.
is
And
beneficial.
it's funny because I think that some of the things that we've been realizing as we've been doing this is that just because your name isn't Yola or Selkirk doesn't mean that you're not making an incredible product.
Y-
Like,
Absolutely. Paddle Tech. I mean,
yeah,
you get all just because you have the pro players that are playing with these other paddles, a lot of us aren't going to go play in the PPA.
yeah,
So these other smaller companies that people are going to purchase because they're just as good or comparable to the big names, but for a fraction of the cost is noteworthy for just recreational players.
absolutely. That being said, let's dive into some of our current gear reviews, and I'll kick it off with a brand that really shocked me and uh, surprised me quite a bit, and that's Alpha Omega Pickleball. So Alpha Omega Pickleball
Yep.
is um, run by a gentleman named Andreas, who is 19 years old, which is
In college.
in college. I think that today he just posted that he's in like the final four of this entrepreneurship class or contest for his entrepreneurship class at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. And honestly, he saw, I think, our first podcast, reached out and said, "Hey, would love to send you some paddles and do an interview," which we did try. And we've continued to have technical difficulties, which is also why we do this in person now instead of remote right now.
Yep.
I live out in the sticks. I have Starlink internet, and for whatever reason, it just does not want us to do remote podcasts or interviews. However, Andreas, we will do it. It's going to happen. I assure you.
Absolutely. So you had that issue, and Andreas and I had like a 30-minute conversation, and just talking to him, 19, and you compare him to like other 19-year-old people that I know, I'm just like, holy cow, you are, in my words, like squared away. Like going to college, he started this when he was a junior in high school.
Mhm.
Like how crazy. So
And that's why I'm so surprised, because when he reached out, I was like, yeah, let's do it. And I had low expectations. I'm like, it's a 19-year-old guy. He's probably just manufacturing, blanks in China and throwing a logo on it. And I do not think that is the case at all. And
talking with him, it does not, like after you had to bail out because of Starlink,
yeah,
talking with him, that's not the case at all.
yeah.
Like he's doing some good things.
And I'm excited to learn more about that with our interview and have an actual conversation with him as
Right.
well. But what I can say is the thing that's shocked me is his paddle, his Kevlar face paddle, is the paddle that I'm using as my main paddle.
And playing absolutely
I was like,
killer with it.
we have to tell that story. So today I was testing out your paddle tech paddle, which
Yeah.
is beautiful. It feels incredible.
Yep.
I just cannot hit it yet. And what I mean by that is like it has so much power. And it's Gen 1, which blows my mind. Like I'm still shocked by that paddle. It hits so stinking hard. And because of that, I was just blasting all over the place. Like we were playing
Yeah.
against each other in doubles, and you guys beat us what, 11-2?
Yeah. 11-2.
Yeah. So you guys beat us 11-2. And I was using the paddle tech. And at that point, I was like, I know this isn't my game. I know this isn't how I play. I went and I grabbed my Alpha Omega paddle.
Yeah.
And I said, let's circle it back. We're going to beat you guys. And I know that nobody believed me. Everyone's like, okay, Matt. Yeah, you're going to beat us. So I circled back, grabbed the Kevlar paddle.
Yep.
And
Which is which one?
so there's the Aries and the
Poseidon.
So this is the Aries paddle. The Poseidon is his carbon fiber face, and then he has the Chronos, which I believe is a Kevlar. No, it's titanium and carbon fiber weave.
And that's the one we haven't got yet.
Titanium polyester. Yeah,
that's the one that he reached out and said that he should be getting more stock.
Yeah, he's got that one in stock. So I haven't hit that one yet, but I think that's supposed to be his like top tier paddle.
Yep.
But the Poseidon is actually what Jarrett's been using a lot. He loves that.
Okay.
But the Aries is what I'm using. So it's a Kevlar face. I love it. And as soon as I grabbed that, we went back out there on the court. And after losing 11-2, we came back and won. I don't know what it was, 11.
Well, you spanked us. It was like 0 or 9-0.
Yeah.
And we were like, Dalton and I were like, what the heck? And so we're like, okay, we got this. And we think we came back and lost like 11-4.
Yeah.
I was like, what just happened? Like we're doing at best 2 out of 3.
We're running it back.
And then you open up game 3 with a freaking nasty Nelson to my quad. Just turned and looked at you. I was like, what just happened?
I might have been possessed at that point. I was like, I have to prove a point here that I'm not as bad as I was in that first game. And yeah, we came back, we won game 2, then we won game 3, and then we circled back again, right? And we ended up winning game 4 as well. So I was just on a tear, and Mike was playing really good too. And it was just a complete change.
Oh, yeah. Like from game 1 to game 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
Your game with the Alpha Omega completely changed.
And here's the thing. I'm not trying to take away from your paddle, Andres. It's a great paddle, and I continue to use it because I play really well with it. I've been playing with it now for 2 months. But I'm sure if I was to put in more effort with the paddle tech, I could probably get to a place where I hit it better. But this Alpha Omega paddle just fits my style so well.
And sometimes that's how it goes.
Yep.
You find that paddle and it just right off the get-go, it feels good. You don't have to do anything to it. You don't have it. You haven't done anything.
Completely stock.
Yeah.
I haven't put any weight on it. I haven't put a different grip on it.
Yeah.
Everything about it is stock, and it is. I played better with that paddle than I played with any paddle that I tried.
Well, you played with it in the tournament that you and I took bronze in as well. So you're loving that paddle.
I'm a little obsessed.
Yeah.
And it's funny because there are other paddles like that paddle tech when I used it where I'm like, this feels so good. Like it has power, but then it also has like this little touch to it. But I just don't play well with it.
No.
And so one of the things that I think is interesting, especially when you watch some of the other reviews, is people talk about feel and like, oh yeah, this one feels good. I don't care how a paddle feels. I care how I play with it.
Right.
And sometimes those things don't mesh. Like sometimes you might think, oh, this paddle feels good, and so that means it's better, or I'm going to play better with it. But maybe a paddle feels like crap, but for whatever reason, your style just fits with it so well.
Well, that was like the other day at Cherry Hill. Like I was playing with I think the Joola Gen 4 at that time.
Yep.
And I switched over to the Paddle Tech 12.7, and you're like, dude, you're hitting that thing lights out.
Yeah.
And the only thing I've done to that is add my Hesicore to it. I don't have any weight on it. And you're like, whatever you're doing, you're playing good with it.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm like, hey, I don't have that feel with it. Yeah, I can hit it super good, but just like that, like player to paddle, like connection, I don't know. I haven't played with it enough to like settle with it, but I'm also hitting, 10 different paddles in a day when I'm playing.
Oh yeah.
And so you don't, at least for me right now, I haven't been able to like just find that main paddle that I would be like my go-to.
I will say that you hit that paddle tech really, really well. Like I think when when I've played with you in that, and it's been only a couple times now, but it's like a noticeable difference. Like you hit it clean, you hit it well, you're hitting it hard.
Yeah.
Whereas like today with the Yola, you hit it hard, but I think that you were a little more inconsistent with the Yola than
Mhm.
you would have been with the Paddle Tech. So
Yeah, interesting.
that's the one that you've been running for a little bit now, and
Well, I did some stuff to it, added some weight to it. I wanted to see if it would change, and it definitely did change the paddle, which I think when you add weight, it usually will change the paddle. And I think I'm just so used to it like stock right now that the
yeah,
added weight, I don't even know what I added to it. I haven't weighed it or anything,
yeah.
but it just feels way more like the ball just bounces off of it like crazy right now. So
So maybe it's the Mike Hoyley effect. Once you get over 9 ounces, that's when it
yeah,
comes to life.
I think the PPA needs to, lower the weight standard to under 9 just so Mike Hoyley can see what it feels like to swing a non-tennis racket for once.
No, I'm good with him blowing out his elbow. Keep it up, Mike.
Poor Mike and that golfer's elbow
I
that
know.
he.
Just kidding, Mike. I don't want you to blow out your elbow. I love you too much. All right. So that's Alpha and Omega. Like, great job, Andreas. Excited to actually deliver the review and have more conversation around that and the interview with him as well.
Yeah,
Next on the list is more of yours. This is going to be Pickleball Apes.
yeah. So Pickleball Apes started with Dalton. He came in with the Pulse V. His dad got the Pulse V, and I was like, huh. Like I have never, at that time, this was like 2 months ago, hadn't heard anything about them. So I played with the Pulse V, and at the time I was playing with the 008, and I was like, wow, this actually feels like a solid paddle. And Dalton and I switched. He threw a little bit of weight on it, and the Pulse V is a wide body, and I'm like, we'll give it a shot. And I was hitting that thing crazy to where Dalton's like, okay, give me my paddle back. I need you to show me how to hit that top spin that you're throwing on this with that paddle. And so reached out to them and they were super cool. Their marketing and their stuff on Instagram is just hilarious. I mean,
Dude,
they do a great job with their little videos and everything, and it just cracks me up every single time. But they sent me the V and the S and the X.
mhm.
The X, I was super interested because it was a brand new paddle. They changed that. That's more of their elongated style paddle. And I hit that one day and was like, okay, I need to do some stuff to it. I need to add my hexacore and rewrap it. After doing that, I went to go play with my in-laws,
Mhm.
and my wife is actually like, hey, mom, like, take a look at this paddle, blah, 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 blah. And my mother-in-law's like, hey, can I play with it? And this is the Pulse X, the
Mhm.
one that I was like looking forward to playing with. And I could not get it from her hands.
To-
She played with it the whole time.
Total mother-in-law move.
Absolutely.
I'm just kidding. Cody's mother-in-law is a gem. She's super sweet.
So she plays with it, and she's like, "Can I hold on to this because I'm heading to Arizona and I want to play with it more?" And I was like, "Oh man!" Like I had just decked it out the way I wanted to play with it,
Mhm.
and I was like, "Yeah." Then that night, she's like, "Actually, hey, I'm gonna order my own. If you can put a Hessicore on it and wrap it, bring it down to Arizona when you come down, and we'll just trade paddles back." I was like, "Okay, cool, that works." She played with it for an hour and instantly was like, "Yep, this is my new paddle," and went and bought one like an hour and a half later.
That's awesome.
And she loves it. My wife plays with the my Pulse X, and they just played in a tournament, so they're both rocking the pickleball apes. I mean, they designed their outfits behind it. They're, they're wanting the certain wrap on their handle with it, so everything matches, and they're matching in the tournament. And I mean, they're having fun with it. So
That's so
I've
funny.
been super pleased with pickleball apes. Um, I actually thought the paddle I was gonna like was gonna be the S because that's more of like the hybrid that I'm used to. And for the wide body, like whatever reason, that paddle feels good.
Yeah.
So whatever they did with the Pulse V, that paddle feels great.
So I've only swung them a couple times, and what I
Mhm.
will say is, number one, they sound incredible. I love the sound of the ball off of all of the Apes paddles. I think it sounds kind of like Gen 3, like a little bit of a deeper, less of a like a pop cracking noise and more of like
Mhm.
a deeper sound, and I love that.
Yeah.
And then also, they just look so good.
They
Like,
do.
I know aesthetics don't actually matter, but their like base contrast against like the edge is just it's perfect. I love that it's very simple. It's not too crazy. Like some of the designs out there I just don't need that. I don't like it.
Right.
And theirs is very, very chill, minimalistic,
Well, you know what they
beautiful.
say about aesthetics. If it look good, it feels good, and then you play good.
You play good, dude.
So look good, feel good, play good, and that's what the girls are doing.
Yep, yep.
So
No, that's awesome. And to your point earlier too, their marketing's the best. I commented on one of their videos the other day. I'm like, you guys have the best pickleball marketing of any brand out here right now. It's hilarious. And
the
I'll say not marketing necessarily, like obviously memes and funny videos is a
right,
type of marketing, but like
yeah,
they've got that locked to where I look forward to seeing their videos, right? And that's kind of the age that we're in marketing is
yeah,
entertainment and catching attention is what's most important. And they're doing it.
yeah,
Like they're doing a great
1%.
job. So hats off to you guys. This next brand is one that we both have experience with,
Yes.
and we also have both spent our own money on as well. So this isn't like a free paddle situation. This is like, no, we actually went out and bought these. The hype was pretty high for them, and I actually think that they live up to the hype. And that's 11.624 power paddles.
Yes.
So you have the Huarache X,
Yep.
and I have the Vapor,
Mhm.
and that was my main in I guess 2 tournaments ago. And I still think that's a phenomenal paddle.
Having that
That
battle hits hard.
oh gosh, it's one of those ones where I'm like, it's probably not quite mod level, but it still hits very, very hard. It's very poppy, but it still has very good control. And I haven't hit mine in probably a little over a month at this point because I've loaned it out. But everyone I've loaned it to is just like, wow, this thing is good.
So we had a radar gun and we did some testing. That vapor, you were hitting 51, 53, 51, 52
Mhm.
miles per hour. Compare that to the mod, because everybody was all, the mod's getting delisted here soon. The mod, 54, 55, 53, 56, 54. So you're giving up 2, 3 miles an hour speed.
Yeah. And one thing I want to say, all of you other reviewers out there, they're like, oh, I was hitting 57 miles per hour on my serve. That's bullcrap. I'm calling you out right now. I promise you, my serve is harder than yours by a lot. So either we are recording something wrong or you guys are. You'll find out at the nerdy tourney. Don't worry about it. But like, I'm telling you, like, that's one of the things is these guys have like, oh, 57 miles per hour. I'm like, I was stretching to
Yeah.
get there. I think with that black diamond, ruby or whatever, double black diamond. I think that's the only paddle I got up there with. But
Well, your broken Ultimo is the one that you hit the fastest at 57 and 58.
yeah,
And mm, nothing else was, the mod was close, but nothing else was that high.
yeah. So I don't know, guys. I'll be interested. Maybe I'm gonna get humbled really hard
You might.
at the nerdy tourney, but everyone around here talks that my serve is pretty dang hard, so I'm gonna feel good about that for the time being.
I would say that you have the hardest serve out of like our CDA crew.
Yeah,
Because it's just hard and flat. There's some other guys that have the crazy angles, like the Hoyley. Like he has a hard serve and just hits super sharp angles.
yeah.
But just for a straight bullet is what it is, and is you can't do anything with it. You
That's
other
what we're
than
naming it.
block it back.
Calling myself the Magnum moving forward.
That's if you can get the ball in the court, though.
I mean, 9-0 today. Let's talk about it. But anyways, back to 11.624 and not my serve specifically. I loved the Vapor,
Yeah.
and I'm actually excited to try it out again and get some more reps in with it. I think that it lives up to the hype that everyone gave it. I think that it's probably still actually underhyped in my opinion because it fulfills everything that a power paddle should while still maintaining control. And the price point is very reasonable. I think it's $169, $170.
Yeah.
And if you use some of these other reviewers' codes, you can get that down even lower to like $150 or
Yeah.
something. So like,
150, 160.
there's not a power paddle on the market that I'm aware of at $150 or anywhere near that
Yeah.
even competes with it. And I personally like it a lot better than the Joola Pro 4 that I have, the Perseus. I think I don't think I know I would hit the 11.624 Vapor power over that all day every day.
I played with the 11.624 Huarache X for a while. And then all the paddles started coming in. We're doing our reviews and trying to, play with the paddles that were being provided to do reviews on. I kind of put the 11.624 in my bag. But the other day it got brought back out again because my own mom saw it. She's like, "Hey, this handle looks super cool." And so she grabbed that one and is like, "Can I hold on to it?" I'm like, "No, you can't hold on to it. You already have like 4 of my other paddles. Like, "No, put that back in my bag at the end of the day." She just she loved it, so
For the record, you let your mother-in-law take the paddle, but you didn't let your own mom take the paddle.
'cause my mom's here local,
Ooh,
so she can play with it whenever she wants.
it's kind of messed up, dude. I'm just gonna throw it out there. I might be getting you in trouble, but
You might be. So, yeah, my mom and my dad now have my 006, my Perseus Ben John's Gen 2,
okay,
um, and then whenever I go play with them, they're just playing with whatever paddle they want out of the bags.
yeah,
And so, I mean, they have access to those all the time, so I'm not too worried about it.
yeah. And they got game too. I've seen them play.
They're getting there for only starting like beginning of the year.
Yeah.
They're getting there.
I was surprised. I was watching them, and your mom doesn't miss. Like, there are balls that are going like super low at her feet. I'm like, yeah, there's no way she can get it. And she's like, boop. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Dad's struggling right now though. He ended up jacking up his Achilles because my mom was just running him ragged over the court.
That's awesome. Well, hopefully he heals up here soon.
Yeah.
All right, so that wraps up 11.6.24. Just a quick overview.
Yep.
Both love them. Great paddles. Power. I actually want to try the all court now because, again, I'm starting to drift away from power paddles because I just don't need that power, and it's actually making me way more inconsistent. So, for the record, I will probably be trying their all court paddles here moving forward and see what I think about those. All right, next one. This is probably the funnest brand that we've been, getting to experience, and I'd say I am really excited for this brand, what they've done, what they're doing moving forward. But this is bread and butter.
Yeah.
So
Just like Pickleball Apes, like
yeah,
just have so much fun with their marketing, with their branding, their videos.
oh
I
yeah,
mean, here to destroy tennis, like with the Invader. It's just hilarious.
yeah, non-apologetic. Like tennis sucks. We're here to just crush it,
Yeah.
just have a good time. And
Yeah.
I've had a couple conversations with Doug, who's the CEO and owner of Bread and Butter, and he just seems like a super chill dude, just out here trying to have a good time, trying not to take it too seriously. And I think that he's been doing an absolutely incredible job with their marketing, and I'm excited to see, where they go with that. But they sent us both, their entire line. I think you didn't get the filth,
Yeah, I don't have the filth.
but all of those paddles are really great paddles for what they are.
Absolutely.
Like so let's see. I'll run through mine real quick and then you can give me your opinion on yours on the ones that you like. So the filth, that one, in my opinion, I was using the 11.6.24 when I got the filth, and the filth was not as poppy as the 11.6.24. So that's what I noticed off the bat. I was like, I need a little bit more pop for myself when I'm running up to the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
But I gave that to Cody Spencer to try, and he fell in love with it.
Yeah.
He ditched his old paddle instantly and started using that filth. And then we were playing with another one of his friends named Drew, and Drew tried it out, and he loved it so much that he actually bought it 4 days later in person in Vero Beach, Florida.
Oh,
I had to say, I was like, dude, I met this guy 4 days ago, and then he sends me a picture of himself at the Bread and Butter HQ with the filth in his hand. I was like, how did this happen? He's like, I just happened to be in Vero Beach, for work. I'm like, what are the odds of
yeah,
that?
that's crazy.
4 days. I just met him 4 days ago. You just tried this paddle, and he ended up buying it because he loved it so much, and so he's swinging the filth now too. So that, yeah, like for me personally, it didn't have enough of that pop, and I didn't get to swing it a whole bunch before I let Cody Spencer have it, but it was a very good paddle from a power perspective, and the spin was next level in my opinion, because it has like a little bit of extra dwell time. In my opinion, I felt like it had some dwell, and that also helped with spin and control. And so the thing that Cody loved about it was that when he was swinging that, he was able to hit these crazy angles and shots that he couldn't with his other paddle. And his other paddle was a little bit long in the tooth, I think. So I don't know if in its prime he was able to hit those shots, but he was just his game completely changed when he used it. So that was my thoughts on the filth. And then there's the Shogun and the Invader. So I still
And
and the Fat Boy. I'm
oh, we're
I'm not
cycling
gonna
around.
I ain't gonna
Okay.
miss the Fat Boy, but on the Shogun and the Invader. So those two, in my opinion, felt pretty stiff. Like I didn't feel like there was a lot of touch to them. However, again, and this is what I'm saying. Like just because a paddle doesn't fit my play style necessarily doesn't mean it's not going to fit someone
Mhm.
else's. Like Chris loves the Invader.
Ab-
He's
yeah,
obsessed with it.
he's I think that's his singles paddle is what he's playing with because it gives him a little bit more power with his shot, compared to the
He was using the Lux,
yeah.
which I mean, anything's going to give you more power than the Lux,
Yeah.
but he does love the Invader and he plays really well with it. So that's been in his bag now for the past month. And then the Shogun is the one that I'm still trying to figure out. I haven't given it too much of a chance yet.
Mhm,
Obviously, it won like elongated paddle of the year from a couple of the other reviewers, so I know that
mhm.
it's going to be a really good one.
So that's the one that I have the most playtime with.
Okay.
So out of the box, man, that thing was gritty.
Yeah. Oh,
That
yeah.
that thing,
You just touch it and you're like, Doug, how is this legal?
yeah, it made me like, hmm, okay, maybe this is a prototype one because it was like sandpaper.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and I played with that for uh, it was at league. So I was like a back-to-back league night. So 3 hours of gameplay. I played with that one, and again, like you were saying, not the most powerful paddle, but the spin and like the movement I could put on the ball, especially like my top spin,
Mhm.
that was insane with the Shogun.
Okay.
Um, and then the Invader, I kind of agree with you on that one. Not a lot of touch for how I hit the ball, because I strike the ball pretty much in a tennis style ground stroke.
Mhm.
Um, and I found that one I couldn't shape the ball
Hmm.
with topspin like I can the Shogun. And so the Invader was just sailing long on me quite often. So, but
Was it going to outer space?
you know,
Whoa! Hey! Sorry. I'm sorry.
oh,
Apologize. I know that was bad. But so far we've found people that are maining 3 out of these 4, right? So we have not maining. So we had 2 people maining the filth. No, maybe we have 3. We had 2 filths
mm-hmm.
and 1 invader. We don't have a shogun yet,
Nope.
but then I'm not maining the fat boy, but it is 100% in my bag every time I go to the courts.
Absolutely.
Like I was so shocked by this because I've never been a standard or wide body guy. Like that's not my jam or not what I thought would be my jam. But again, as I'm growing and maturing as a pickleball player and human being, um, I've come to realize that I need that stability, like that extra stability from having a wider, face that gives it better, higher twist weight is so beneficial to my game. And the Fat Boy is really cool because it's poppy. It has great stability, so it has a huge sweet spot
Mm-hmm.
because of that. And it's not so powerful that I'm hitting balls out of, out of the court like I would with like a mod or
Right.
some of these other power paddles, right? So um, I can play with it really well and I still hit it hard. Probably not as hard as I would with like the Aries paddle I'm using, but it still hits hard enough
Yeah.
and I'm just so consistent with it. So I do love that paddle, and I was not expecting it to love it. And it's beautiful. That's one thing I know I keep saying this. And I know I sound like a broken record. All of their paddles are gorgeous.
Well, and just the paddles themselves, but even the boxes, like they are fun, a fun company to unbox the paddle.
Yep.
Whatever paddle it is, it's super fun. You get the stickers, the koozie, the hot sauces, like
Yeah.
the paddle covers match the paddle. Like it's just all around like a good experience when you open that
Oh yeah.
box.
No, they've done an incredible job. So super excited for that. And they're coming out with some more paddles as well. Um,
I think the one that they're talking about right now is the Psycho.
yes, the Psycho's coming out in I think the next couple of months. And they're expanding the filth line.
Yeah,
So they're
well, that's yeah.
they're creating the filth is now going to be a line that comes in all the different shapes as
Yep.
opposed to just an elongated. And I'm really excited for that, especially in that standard wide body shape. So we'll see what those are like here in the next couple months as well.
And going back to the Fat Boy, that one just has a special like place in my heart.
The donut
it has
on
a
it.
donut on it, so you can't go wrong with it.
Yep.
Gonna be serving up some donuts here soon,
Ain't
so
that the truth?
I think your next game against me is gonna be like a big fat donut for you. 11-0, calling it now.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, and we'll have matching tats after that too, I
Oh
think.
yeah,
But
I owe you one.
that was crazy. That welt on your thigh. I'll put that in the video. I'll let everyone see the welt on here. So you know what we're talking about. Next is not necessarily a brand overview, but it is a more recent paddle release, and it's the Joola Perseus Pro 4
Yep.
16 millimeter.
Yep.
And the reason this one's important for us is that we both had the mod and we both loved the mod, and we were both very bummed when the mod got sunsetted. I won't say it's canceled or banned because it still has a couple months left, but
Yep.
it was sunset. And that was one of the first things in this like industry that really got us kind of frustrated. And so here's the new follow-up to that. And it had a lot of hype, when it was released. And I think we have differing opinions on this, but I don't think it lives up to the hype. I personally
Whew.
think that it is not as good as the mod in any way. So I think it has less touch and feel. I think that it has less power, but it's still too powerful for me to really control well. So I have lots of pop-ups when I'm dinking with that ball. My serve does not go in very often with that ball. And there'll be times when I just hit it way too hard and too far. And that's not the paddle's fault. I'm not blaming the paddle for that. That is my own fault. It just doesn't fit my style. However, the mod, in my opinion, felt like it had so much more touch. Like when the ball would hit the mod, there was that extended trampoline feeling that had better dwell. And I just do not get that from this Pro 4. Is that what it's called? Yeah, the Joola Perseus Pro 4 16 millimeter. I just don't get that same feel. So it's a paddle that, again, we bought and it comes along in my bag,
Yep.
but it's not one that I'm ever willing to really pull out in a competitive manner. So it's one where I'll probably dink around with it a little bit here and do some drilling with it to see if I can get better with it. But I don't think that it lives up to the hype personally. And I would take the 11,624 over that any day of the week, especially with the price difference. Even if they were the same price, I would take the 11,624.
I would say for the price difference, the 11,624 has the advantage. However, I played with the Yola all day today at open play
And in our tournament together,
and in the tournament.
you've been maining that one pretty much.
Yeah, I did. And yes, it does not live up to the mod, but given the mod got sunset for a reason,
Yeah.
they have to tone things down. However, I do still like the Perseus Gen 4, but it is frustrating me a little bit right now. I don't think it's the paddle. I think it's the player. I just don't think I'm hitting it very well. I played with it because it was the one I've been hitting the most. So I was down in Arizona. I played at a match point tournament in singles, and it frustrated the heck out of me. And again, I don't think it was the paddle. I think it was just new environment, tournament setting. It was my first time playing outside. So I think there's just a lot of environmental factors that got me frustrated. And in every single game, I started out like 0 to 3. And so I'm always trying to fight back. And so I don't know, I just felt like I couldn't swing freely with it. After the tournament, one of the guys I had met down there like a couple months prior, he's like, "Hey, like there's some open courts at this amazing facility. Let's go hit a little bit." So I brought out the paddle tech because I had just got that. It came with me. The pickleball apes was with me because my wife had it. And so I started hitting with those, and every my wife, the guy that I was playing with, just screwing around. He's like, "Dude, if you would have been playing like you are right now in the tournament, like outcomes would have been completely different." But again, you're now in just a open play environment. You don't have the pressure of like the tournament and like the score and everything. But I just felt like way more loose. And like you said, I'm hitting that paddle tech
Yeah.
like crazy right now. But
You sure are. That thing's a lot in your hands. It's crazy.
we'll see. We'll
Okay.
see. There's a lot of paddles. The next tournament I'll definitely be changing up the main just to
Hmm.
get different play styles and different paddles out there.
What are
So
you going to use in the next tournament?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
You don't know. You just know it's not going to be the Yola.
Correct.
Okay.
Except for I already promised Dalton, unless I not playing good with the Yola, I told Dalton because he just got the new Agassi
Yes.
that I would at least run Yola Boy with him at that tournament. But
There you go.
we'll see.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. And then the last one here for current gear. I mean, we have a couple more in the pipeline, which we'll talk about later, but
Mm-hmm.
current gear, the last one here is the Selkirk 008. Just kind of a follow up because in our last conversation on this podcast, you had talked about our initial thoughts on it, and we've gotten
Yep.
a couple more months of getting to swing it around.
Mm-hmm.
I still haven't hit the 10 millimeter or the 16 millimeter, so the 13 millimeter is the only one that I've been able to hit, but my views did not change on it. I still felt like it was too soft and for like dinking, like it didn't have enough pop, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion. However, that being said, I have gotten to test out some of their upcoming foam core paddles, and they solve that issue. So While the 008's not my jam, I know there are a lot of people out there. Like today, I was playing with this lady named Cindy. She was probably in her 70s, and she was swinging a 008. I asked her, I was like, "What do you think of the paddle?" And she said, "I love it." And I was like, "Awesome." So
Yeah.
again, just because it doesn't fit my style doesn't mean it doesn't
Yep.
fit someone else's. And I'll tell you, she was my partner, and she she swung that thing well. I'm trying to think of who we played because we beat them. Who was it?
Was she the lady that had like crazy side spin?
Yes.
Yeah, I played with her as well against her, and she swung that 008
Oh, she
very,
was.
very well and had for 70 years old crazy like spin, and she could hit that pretty hard.
Yeah, that's
It
what that
it
was so
kind of
surprising.
caught
She had a two-y, and
yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
"Oh
it
my
caught me off
gosh."
guard a couple times. I
Yeah.
was like, okay.
Oh, I was playing against it was Cadence, and I think it was the video. It might have been the video that you caught me body bagging him on. It was. So it's when I body bagged Cadence. So it's in that video. So whoever else we were playing against. But anyways, yeah, we ended up winning. We beat them. So I was like, that was great. She crushed, and she was swinging an 008.
Yours haven't changed. My opinion has changed
Okay.
because at the time I had been playing with the 13 mil tour shape. I threw some weight on it, threw a hexacore on it, and played with it. It was my main when I played with Hoyley and the R45 doubles.
Which you guys did really well in.
Yeah, we did okay. Not the outcome we wanted, but we played good. And I was digging that paddle. Now that I've hit 10 plus other companies' paddles and probably upwards of 30 different, variations of paddles, I would say that that paddle is very, very soft.
Yeah,
The Selkirk.
the 13 millimeter.
Yeah. I went back to it the other night because Mike Hoyley has the 10 mil now.
Mhm.
So I brought out the 13 mil, played with it, picked back up where I left off, but I could definitely tell at the time I thought I had great power with it. But now playing with 11624, the new Joola paddle tech, the bread and butter Shogun, the pickleball apes, like I can definitely generate way more power off those paddles than I could with the 13. And going into the dinking game with the Selkirk, I noticed that there is some inconsistency. And it could be player, but
Mhm.
I'm not noticing with other paddles. That one, I'm noticing there's some inconsistency for my game when I'm in the dinking. Like all of a sudden it's popping up in the air, and then all of a sudden it's just like not doing anything. It's just like a pillow.
Yeah.
Um, However, I did get to play with the 10 mil.
Mhm.
Not a fair and accurate representation since it's now at like, I don't know, 10 ounces, Mike. And it feels like I'm swinging a freaking tennis racket.
Yeah.
But that thing, the way he has it set up, which is what he likes, it definitely has more pop, more power. But I mean, it's at 9.5 ounces. So when you weight something up, you're going to get the power and plow through with that. But
Yeah.
it did feel good. It felt very like dead in the hand. Like there wasn't like you can get the player feedback from what the paddle's doing, but it wasn't like there was any like vibration or anything like that that was going down through the hand and into the arm.
Dude, it's 9+ ounces. There better not be. I mean, golly,
Yeah.
that's wild. Good luck, Mike. Okay, cool. Well, that kind of wraps up those. And then here's an interesting segment. This is one that is kind of a weird one. It's called highs and lows. And the reason that I came up with this is because like my wife and I dated long distance. This is weird, I know. Bear with me on this story. It was the only way I could convince a girl to, marry me was to keep her in a different state. But anyways, we dated long distance, and one of the things that we would do when we have conversations on the phone, because this was before FaceTime existed, uh, 14 years ago, 15 years ago when we were dating, we would say, hey, what are your highs and lows of the day? And so we would share that. And it's one of those things where you can get to know a lot about a person if they have a consistent pattern, what makes them happy and what makes them sad.
And so confirming highs and lows. Highs is like the goods and lows is the bad.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. So what was your highlight of the day and what
Yep.
was your low light of the day?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to bring that into paddles because, not everything is rainbow and sunshine with paddles. And I kind of wanted to address it. So I'll kick it off with my highs. And again, Alpha and Omega. I am so shocked and so happy with how that paddle performs. And it is my main. And I wasn't expecting it. It was like a surprise and delight moment for me. So that's the highlight for me right now in relation to paddles. And I guess I'll just flow into my lows, and I'll give you the mic, do your highs and lows too. My low, and this is one I haven't talked about, and it's because I've been purposely avoiding it. And I will be making a review on this, and it'll be my first bad review of a paddle. Like, I'm not gonna even try to sugarcoat it. It's just not good, and that is the Lotto Ultimo Pro 16 millimeter. And the reason I'm it's a low has nothing to do with the performance. I thought it played really, really well.
Mhm.
It has everything to do with the fact that it broke in 31 days. 31 days is important because I got it from Dick's Sporting Goods, and they have a 30-day return policy, and they would not take it back. And when I contacted Lotto, they wouldn't do anything for me.
Yikes.
Where I know it's a $250 paddle, and it is exclusive to Dick's Sporting Goods. So it's like, okay, there's not much I can do there. And I get it. They don't have to do anything. They
Right.
don't. Like, they're fulfilling their like warranty, or whatever you want to call it. Like, they are completely fine to not do anything about it. But for me personally, if I spend $250 on a paddle and it breaks in 31 days and that company's not going to help me out, that's not the customer service I would want to, work with or deal with. And I wouldn't recommend that to anyone else here, especially when there are other companies that would back their products, even if there wasn't a legal technical warranty that they need to.
Right.
Selkirk does that in an incredible way, right?
Mhm.
Um, I'm sure Bread and Buttered has a really good warranty on their products and would go out of their way to help customers. Like, they've been great. So there's enough companies out there creating great paddles that do care about their customers and not just the bottom line of the business. And I did not get that feeling from Lotto. So that is my low.
Okay.
Yep.
So my highs, or my high, is a paddle we didn't talk about today. It'll be coming up on another podcast, probably on my channel, maybe next time,
Cool.
is the Gator Strike Gold Pro Series.
Yep.
Hadn't heard of Gator Strike. They came across my Instagram, and I was like, this is an interesting company. So I reached out to him and talked to, I'm pretty sure he's the owner, Casey. And he's like, heck yeah, let's hook you up. Let's send you some paddles. So he sent me out 2 of the Gold Pro Series. I gave you one so you could play with it. I played with one, and I've enjoyed that paddle. Like, because I hadn't heard of them. So my expectation was just kind of like, I don't know what to expect.
Yep.
And I've really, really liked that paddle. And that's one that I'm looking forward to playing with more. It's just trying to find the time to go play with other paddles. And that's going to be a paddle that I have a review, and we'll talk about it more on the podcast next time.
Yeah.
My negative, which is also going to carry a positive, is the Selkirk Court Strike Pros.
Oh, yep.
So, I mean, I want to support Selkirk. They are a local company, and I like the shoes. I like the look of the shoes, but I'm on my third pair since January 30th. On my third pair of shoes. And I don't know if it's a Selkirk issue, if it's a manufacturing issue, what it is, but the I don't know how to describe it, but like the plastic that goes around the shoe to kind of help the, integrity of the shoe has been peeling, or it's split.
That's the 3D printing.
Okay.
It's like a 3D printed material, and it's one of the main call outs of the shoe.
Yeah.
So,
And so that's the negative. And in my first pair of shoes, I burned through the sole like crazy, like I do every other shoe. I haven't found a shoe not last that can last more than 3 months. And I play a lot, but I mean, you're gonna spend $120+ on shoes. I mean, 3 months is pretty quick.
yep.
However, the positive to go with that low is Selkirk is just like with their paddles. They're like, hey, no questions asked. Trade me out both times now. And they do have a tread warranty, which is cool for 6 months. So that's a great thing that they have. And I think that's on one pair of shoes. However, they've hooked me up twice now for replacements because of that 3D printing.
Yep.
They're saying it's a manufacturer issue that they have gotten fixed, or it will be fixed on their, upcoming inventory. But unfortunately, my 2 black pairs of shoes, both pairs of the 3D printing has come apart.
Yep.
But they've done great. Like, yep, no questions asked. They're like, that's a issue that we know about, and they've hooked me up, and I'm on my third pair. I actually had to go with the tan this time just because I didn't have black in my
Ooh, the Tims.
and
I say that those look like Timberlands. I think that it's kind of funny. You remember Tims back in the day in high school?
no,
Well,
no.
definitely gonna put it in here so that people know I'm not crazy. No,
Yeah,
I think those are funny. Myself, it's not my style,
yeah.
but it
I
looks good on you today.
I
I was spanking you. Yeah, whatever.
yeah, I usually run black
Yeah,
on almost everything. I'm not a big white shoe person just because I get dirty super fast, but these tan ones, I actually like the look,
yeah,
and they're growing on me. So that's my low, but a high for Selkirk with those Gator Strike Pro shoes.
yeah. It's funny because when I started like playing pickleball and stuff, everyone's like, Selkirk has incredible customer service, and I was like, I don't care. And now I understand why that's so important.
Yeah.
Like I've had multiple issues with multiple other things where, again, like with the Lotto situation, where it's just infuriating. And my experience with Selkirk has been lights out. Just again, no questions asked. We're gonna take care of the customer. We're gonna do the right
Yeah,
thing, and I respect that a lot.
absolutely. And given we have a little bit of an advantage because of Selkirk being 20 minutes from our house.
Yeah,
Like we can go in. We're not having to go through the hoops of mailing stuff in, receiving it back in the mail, and going through it that way. So I don't know what the customer service is like online, but if it's anything remotely close to like it is in person, like they're doing fantastic.
yeah. I would bet that it is like knowing um a little bit about how they want to operate their business. I think that their goal is to make sure the customers know they care about them. So I think that that's a really great low with a silver lining or eye. I think
Yeah.
that's awesome. All right. So next is just going to we're kind of wrapping things up now, but
Yeah.
we're going to talk through some upcoming gear reviews. So what I'm going to be working through right now is hack pickleballs, which we both
Yeah.
have some experience with.
Yep.
And again, I think that could also go into a surprisingly good situation where I was not expecting much from them. Um, and they're a joy to play with. Like that's a weird thing to say, but it's funny because they're outdoor pickleballs, built
Hmm.
for durability, like precision, like the way that they have everything figured out. I don't know if it's patented, but they have like a specific way of building these balls that has the little pickle cutouts in it, and they fly well.
Yeah.
They play well. They feel so smooth. Like it's
They're super pleasant to hit.
yes,
Like just I mean, that's the only way I can say, like, when you hit that ball, it's just like, "Oh, like, that felt good." However, I mean, they're not gonna be a Dura-Fast ball where it's just blazing by you, like, they're heavier, they're gonna be slower, but they are fun to play with.
oh yeah. It's like it's kind of like hitting with a control paddle almost because like it just feels so
Mhm.
good. So I can have good soft feel even if my paddle doesn't have that. I don't know. I need to think through a little bit more of like what was so awesome about them, but they feel great. They're
Yeah.
magnificent. I can't recommend those enough from just like an enjoy like playing with them.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's ever gonna play with them in tournaments or whatnot, but um just for open play or more of a casual play, like I think that they're great. And I took them to open play this morning and like was showing them to a couple people, and they're like, these feel kind of like indoor balls because they're so soft. And
Mhm.
I was like, they might, but they don't perform in the same way. They still perform really, really well, even on these outdoor courts. So I'll be doing a more in-depth review on that, but just want to chat on that. And then also coming up for me is the Hoopis pickleball backpack. So you've seen me use that. I'd used it at a
Yep.
tournament. I've been using it as my main bag now for the last probably month and a half or 2 months. And I wanted to make sure that I put it through the paces. And honestly, man, it is a very functional backpack. So it's not going to be like your, forward court caddy or your
Right.
like ADVs where it's like, oh, that's a beautiful, sexy, like thing. But the thing is, it's insanely functional and it doesn't look bad. It looks like an OGO bag.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, I took some photos of it yesterday and was posting them online. And I didn't edit the photos at all. I just took them here in the studio and I didn't like clean the bag up or anything. And it still looks brand new. And I've been using it nonstop for like
Well,
2 months. So I'm
yeah, I
like,
mean, you carry all your paddles in it or, most of your paddles in it with your camera gear, your snacks.
yeah, my snacks, all my snacks.
Yep.
And I'm not going out of my way to treat it nicely, and it still has no, like, scratches or abrasions on it, and I've been pleasantly surprised by that one too. So Hoopis Pickleball is doing a good job with that backpack. I think they just released a paddle as well. But and if it's anywhere near as good from a construction standpoint and, thought standpoint, they put as much thought into that paddle as they did this backpack. It's going to be awesome too. So I'll be dropping a review there, and then the last one that I have still on the books is Temper Sport. So they sent over, I think, 6 paddles. And their big thing is they are big into different weights as well as different shapes.
Yeah.
And so they have some pretty crazy shapes. And I've been hitting those ones, and I'm telling you, I've been shocked. Like there,
Okay.
there's some where I was like, this is a little bit out there. It's a little weird looking, but I was hitting with my Titan ball machine the other day. I was doing some drilling, and I was hitting their fiberglass face paddles that have some very interesting shapes. And I was like, these rock. Like, I'm slicing through the air. I'm making some like quick little flicks with them that I can't do with some other paddles. And so I'm excited to get a little bit more under my belt with those, and then to post a full review. But I was impressed, and I need to let you hit those a little bit too so you can
Yeah.
get some thoughts on them.
Yeah, we need to get together and do a like 3-hour just playthrough with paddles because um for me, I want to hit with the Gator Strike. Like I mentioned, I want to play with that a little bit more. I just got the Diadem blue cores, so I need to get some playtime with those. I have the 14 Pro and the 16 Max shape,
Okay.
and then they also have their standard shape, and everything comes in. So you have the Pro line, the standard line, and then their Max line, and each one's 14, 16, 19. So they have a 9 paddle release that they're going to be coming out with. So I have 2 of the 9 shapes, but um, so far not anything negative to say about it.
Yeah.
The one I thought I was gonna like the most is just a little light, so it'll just take some modifying for me to get that a little bit heavier to where I like it. But the 16 Max, again, I might have to start playing with a wide body because you know this this new Diadem, the Fat Boy, the Pulse, like all of a sudden, like I didn't think I was gonna like these wide body paddles, but they are feeling good. So
Yeah. And you had those this morning, and I was able to hold them. And I will say they felt great in the hand. I didn't play with them, and they looked good. So again, I really love a simple like aesthetic, and they nailed that. And then also their grips felt really nice. Like they had like a grippier grip. Did you put an over grip on them?
nope, those are still stock. Haven't
Yeah.
done anything to them.
I felt like their stock grips were impressive. So I'm excited for you to hit those around a little bit more and maybe get a couple reps in with them as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
They looked really good and they felt really good. So I think they're onto something with those as well. And their foam core, the blue core.
You had the blue core.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I also did an interview or a podcast with Evan Specht, their co-founder, yesterday. That'll be getting edit and dropped probably this coming week. Um, Probably Monday or Tuesday. I'll try to get that posted. But he was a pleasure to talk with, and he's a former Idaho boy as well. So
Idaho me.
Idaho to Florida, like wow, polar opposites. We're here and it's like 40 degrees in this studio, and he's down in like 80 degrees sunny weather. Like, man, I'm jealous.
Whoa, chill on that. It's not that cold. It's probably 40 degrees. Probably right.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, this trailer could end up in Florida. I'm trying to convince the wife to snowbird it with me, and so I'm looking for some places to park this thing.
Snowbird,
Yeah,
please.
I'm looking for it. I'm looking for the
Well,
opportunity.
you were saying that this trailer might be moving this summer. You were talking about a couple road trips for
That's right.
for some tournaments.
Yep. So
Maybe Arizona. Arizona, their what was it? The Arizona Athletic Center. Super amazing facility.
yeah.
41 courts, like all like individualized courts, so you're not having anything distract you other than people watching.
Mhm.
They had baseball, they had soccer, I'm pretty sure they had basketball. Amazing facility. I only got to check out part of it, but I'd totally be down to go to another tournament there.
Yep.
So
No, that'd be dope. And my wife had a good idea too. She was like, "You should wrap the RV with dinking and driving. Like, just wrap
there
it,
you go.
and then we can go to PPA tournaments as well and do interviews with pros, other reviewers, and what else, and like do interviews back here." I was like, "That'd be pretty fun."
That'd be pretty sweet.
I feel like she said it, and as soon as it came out of her mouth, she's like, "Oh no, take it back. Don't encourage him to be more obsessed with pickleball and to drive this stupid trailer all over the place." So who
Well,
knows though? It could
I
happen.
mean, even for cost effective, instead of wrapping this gigantic trailer, just get like a magnet.
That sounds like a good idea.
throw it on the back of it or throw it on the side with just your Dinking and Driving logo. There, and then that way when you're not, do anything pickleball related, you're out camping. You don't have everybody questioning your wife's getting pissed at you because you're supposed to be camping and now you're talking about pickleball again.
I mean, I kind of like it. I don't mind talking about pickleball. We've been talking for like an hour plus, I think.
Oh,
So
geez.
I can talk pickleball all day, every day. And then lastly, just to wrap this up,
Yeah.
um, we're gonna have some sponsors, man. We're gonna have both a show sponsor for like the entire podcast, like a pod sponsor, and then a sponsor for just a couple of shows. And so
Okay.
kicking it off is going to be a company called Purpose Meals. We're going to be doing a couple of giveaways for them, and they're going to be sponsoring a couple of our episodes. And it's actually a friend of mine. He's launching, or he has launched now, this meal replacement product called Purpose Meals. And the idea behind it is it's an all-in-one supplement that has things to help with energy, with mental focus and clarity, with your protein needs, and it's a meal replacement. And they're also doing it with a purpose. So for every meal you buy, every purpose meal you buy, they supply a meal for people that might not be able to. So underserved population.
That's super cool.
The product's insane. Like, I'll obviously talk about that more down the road, but it is a really great product. It tastes delicious. Can't talk about it in a more positive light. And obviously my friend, so there is a little bias there, but I would have told him it was trash if it was, and it's not. It's a good product.
Okay.
And then for the actual podcast is a supplement company, an energy drink company, and this is kind of cheating because it's the company I work for. So, well, sorry.
Hey, I'll take it.
I know. Just in case people were wondering, this is not my full-time job doing a podcast here. I do have a day job, and it is in the nutritional supplement space, and I will be talking a little bit about those, and they are going to be sponsoring this, and we'll be giving some people some deals and doing giveaways and having some fun there. So,
And what energy drink company?
so our energy drink is called ABE Energy. It stands for All Black Everything. And we have an exciting new launch coming up at the end of this month. We're launching with Tang. So
Okay.
there are probably some people here watching this that have no idea what Tang is. And the people that do know what Tang is, there might be some nostalgia there.
Okay.
And it is absolutely lights out. We already have a bunch of flavors that are delicious. And we are going to be doing some more um, licensed collaborations here in the future, but Tang is the one that's coming up down the road here in the next couple weeks.
Sweet.
Yeah, so excited to have those up here, and then also do some launches and giveaways with consumers moving forward. But that's all I have, man.
That was a lot. We covered a lot today.
We sure
And
did.
so but it's been a couple weeks now since our last pod, so there was a lot to catch up on.
Oh yeah,
So,
right on.
and there's more to catch up on. So stay tuned for
Yeah,
the next podcast
that's
in
right.
the next couple of weeks.
Thanks for joining me, man.
You betcha.